Hi guys, my name is Emily, and today I am going to be doing a haul which is more for me than for you. You will probably enjoy it because for some reason BookTube seems to love hauls, but it is for me, so I can see while I'm editing this that I have too much and I need to stop buying. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I'm trying to do a read 5 buy 1, which I was relatively successful with up until this past month when I quit my job and suddenly discovered that I had lots and lots of free time to do what? Used book shopping. I have them sorted by where I have purchased them from, and I have actually read some of these and I will point out what I've read, but I will quickly share with you what I have purchased from where. So starting with The Kraken Wakes by John Wyndham, I picked this up from a bookstore in my hometown, which I'm not going to share the name of because I live in a small town and it would be fairly easy to find me. I am slowly working my way through John Wyndham's works, so whenever I go into a used bookstore I always pick up what is there because it's always nice to find something for cheap, so this was $2. Then I went and visited a friend in London, and there's a bookshop there that I used to go to when I went to school in London. It's called City Lights. It's very claustrophobic, but it's incredibly well organized, especially for a used bookstore. So if you are ever in London, Ontario, and you happen to have some time to browse, City Lights on Richmond Street is amazing. So from City Lights I purchased Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, a hardcover, because mine fell apart and the pages are actually getting lost. So I have been looking for one of these for a while and I finally found one, so that. And then I picked up Zadie Smith's White Teeth. I have heard lots of good things about this, and I read a short story by her in my last year of university and I loved her writing style. And so when I saw a copy of this, I picked it up. Then I have another John Wyndham. This is Consider Her Ways and Others. It is a collection of short stories, and again I am reading through his works slowly, so pick this up. And then I heard Jen Campbell talk about Foe by J.M. Coetzee on her channel, and I did read some Coetzee in my last year of university, Waiting for the Barbarians, and I really enjoyed it. So when I found this at City Lights, I picked it up. And then finally, I picked up Pygmalion by Bernard Shaw. I went to see Pygmalion in Niagara earlier in the year. I really enjoyed their modern take on the play, but I also wanted to read the original text. I wish I had been able to find this earlier, but oh well. So I have it now, so I can kind of read this and think back to the play, so that's why I picked this up. That is from City Lights. Also in London there is a Goodwill, and because the Goodwill is kind of close to the university, a lot of the books there are quite literary, I guess. Like, I recognize a lot of things from certain courses, like really obscure books that you probably wouldn't find in a Goodwill normally, ended up in this Goodwill because of its proximity to the university, so I picked up a beautiful hardcover of Zadie Smith's Northwest, again because I've heard good things about Zadie Smith and I enjoyed her writing style in the short story. $4, hardcover. Couldn't find this for a better price if I tried, probably. Then, again, because I started watching Jen Campbell's channel, I heard her talk about Jeanette Winterson a lot. I have read Winterson's Sexing the Cherry, and I did enjoy it. So I picked up Written on the Body and Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit, and I have read this. I really enjoyed it, and there will be a review coming up for this soon. And I also picked up The Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood, and I have been looking for this in used bookstores for a long time, specifically because I've heard Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts, I believe, talk about this a lot as one of her favorite Atwoods, and I have read quite a lot of Atwood's works. When I found this hardcover at the Goodwill, I was very excited to get my hands on this, and so I snatched it up right away. So those are from the Goodwill. And then there is a thrift store in one of the cities that I passed through on some of my summer travels, and it is called Talese. So I got two Agatha Christie's because I really enjoyed And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, which I read last summer and I do have a review for. So I have The Mysterious Mr. Quinn and The Murder on the Orient Express. I found a copy of The Taming of the Shrew, which the Stratford Festival is currently putting on, and if I can still get tickets, I'm not sure if I can, I would love to see this. So I picked up the play so I could read it before purchasing the tickets for it. I'm also slowly working my way through Michael Ondaatje's works, and so I found Divisadero by Michael Ondaatje. Not much to say, just reading through his works, found a copy. I also picked up Bridget Jones' Diary by Helen Fielding because I heard Ron Litt mention this. I believe it was Ron Litt mentioning this on her channel at some point. It's supposed to be pretty funny. Not a huge fan of the cover, but you know, if we're going cheap, you can't be super picky about the edition you're buying, but I have started reading it and so far it's pretty funny, so I am enjoying this. I picked up Looking for Alaska by John Green. I did read this. There will be a review coming out for this. I also picked up The Winter's Tale by William Shakespeare, and I did read this during the Booktubeathon as well. Not one of Shakespeare's better plays. There's a reason that you probably haven't heard of this. So if you want to see my thoughts on that, I do a somewhat spastic review of it in my Booktubeathon day 2 or 3 video. I'll link it in the description down below if you're interested. Then I picked up Girl Meets Boy by Ali Smith because, again, Jen Campbell talked about Ali Smith, I believe in her bookshelf tour. She owns like a ridiculous number of Ali Smith books. I looked at them online and they're actually quite expensive, and having not read anything by Ali Smith before, I didn't want to put a lot of money into it, so every time I go into a used bookstore, I'm kind of keeping an eye out for Ali Smith so I could pick up something and try it for relatively cheap, so I am looking forward to this because so far everything that Jen has recommended I have enjoyed reading. Another thing that I look for whenever I go into a used bookstore is the Norton Critical editions of texts, because people are always getting rid of their Norton Critical editions, somewhat stupidly, because they're quite expensive. A Norton Critical edition, I have Persuasion by Jane Austen here, so it just has your standard story, and then it has background and context, and it also provides you with modern critical reviews on the text. So you can read the text, you can get some background information on the time and the characters and the setting and the controversy and stuff like that, and you can read people's thoughts on the things. So you get some critical, scholarly essays in the back of these things. I have Othello in this version, I have Sense and Sensibility in this version. I think that might be it. But so far I am loving the Norton Criticals, so whenever I go into a used bookstore, I'm keeping an eye out for these because to purchase them new is really expensive and people just apparently just throw away their school books. So this was an excellent find, and for all of these I paid less than I would for like one book new. I was a somewhat bad human being, but I did find some sales online with chapters, and so I put in a couple of orders, but I didn't spend my own money. I got a gift card from my coworkers when I quit my job, because I can't have this job and the TA job during school. So the first thing is A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing by Amir McBride, which is a kind of weird train of thought narrative I am currently reading. It is good, but I find that I have to finish the section I'm reading to kind of stay in the flow of things. It's not the kind of book that you can read in a place and put down, because if you lose the flow, it just doesn't work. I have been reading this before bed. Not sure if that's 100% the best time to read this when I'm tired, but it's also the only time that I can read uninterrupted. I will post a review for this when I am done. Then I treated myself to the Mistborn box set because a couple of you have recommended this now online, and a couple of friends in real life who know what my thesis is about, badass ladies in fantasy-ish books, and so they recommended that I check out Brandon Sanderson. I am really looking forward to getting into these. I also picked up For Today I'm a Boy by Kim Fu. I'm going to be attending McMaster University in the fall, and during their TA welcome week stuff, there's an opportunity for me to hear Kim Fu speak. I read this, I am filming a review for this. I really, really enjoyed this. This is probably one of my favorite books this year, so would highly recommend that you check this out. Fantastic purchase, totally worth it in my opinion. Something that wasn't so worth it, this was $5.99 for the hardback, because I guess the paperback's coming out soon, so they're wiping out the hardback inventory. I read the first one. I wasn't super impressed with it, but someone recommended it because it kind of fits in with my thesis. And so I decided I would give it another go with the second book, because, like, you know how sometimes first books are kind of awkward. I think some of the awkwardness gets cleaned up in here, although there are still issues with it in my opinion. I do have a review for the first one coming out. I probably won't review the second one just because I don't have much to add to anything about it. So then I also picked up The Hen Who Dreamed She Could Fly by Sun Mi Huang. This was so beautiful. It's been described as the love child of Animal Farm and Charlotte's Web. I'd say that's pretty accurate. I really, really enjoyed this. There is a review for this coming out shortly because I have read this and you can hear my thoughts when that is published. And another thing that I picked up because of the lovely Jen Campbell is A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ezeki. A lot of the things that Jen has recommended that I've read I've really liked, and this was $5 online, so I picked up this copy while I had the chance because it was such a good deal. So I'm super excited to read this because I've had so much success reading the things that Jen has recommended. So I will leave links to Jen's channel in the description below just in case you haven't seen Jen before. And so that is my chapters haul. That is a lot of books. Clearly I have failed at the read 5 buy 1. I'm not too upset. Like, it seemed like a kind of fun thing to try, but at the same time, I'm going to read these because I am interested in them. Like, I'm interested in the authors. A lot of the things that I picked up, I am already working through the complete works by this author, so just finding it at a good price and having it on the shelf, it's not a waste. It's not like I'm not going to be interested in reading the rest of Michael Ondaatje's works, because I'm already working towards reading all of his works, so I don't feel too bad. Although, it has to stop. I have to stop. Out of this stuff, the things that I have read, you will see reviews coming in the next month or so, because I'm pre-filming ahead. I'm not sure how the workload with school is going to be. So keep an eye out for the reviews if any of these interest you. Did I do the haul right? I've never done a haul before. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've read any of these books and would recommend a place to go next, also let me know that. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye!